Barry?
Here.
Dexter?
Present.
Height?
Here.
Witcher is absent. A quorum is present, sir.
Thank you. I'd like to ask that we stand. Since Alderman Witcher is not here, Alderman Height will lead us in the prayer and the pledge.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather here together tonight to conduct the affairs of the city. Pray for those people that are not here tonight. We pray for those people that are sick. Lord, we pray that in the coming days that you'll watch over this nation, protect us as you always have. We pray for our soldiers overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan. Lord, we pray that tonight that everything that we say, everything that we think, and everything that we do will be pleasing in your sight. Forgive us of our sins. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So moved.
Motion made and seconded that the minutes of the previous meeting be approved and submitted. On the motion,
Gibson?
Yes.
Yielding?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
would you make the blanket motion? Someone make the blanket motion? Communication?
Yes.
Motion made, second. Motion made and seconded. Any council member want any one of these pulled?
The speed hump request, I'm going to offer an amendment to that
All right.
on behalf of Ward 4.
Then all but number 4 on the motion.
Gibson?
Yes.
Yielding?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Number 4, would you read that, Mr. Whitby?
By title?
That'll be fine, and
Okay.
see what Alderman Height wants to do with it.
This is a communication speed hump report dated May 10, 2004. It includes wards 1, 2, 3, and 4.
As far as Ward 4 is concerned, we'd like to delete or take off of that list the speed hump that's been requested to be installed on Pontiac Drive.
All right.
Move accept and file.
The motion made to accept that deletion by Alderman Gibson, seconded by Alderman Hyde on the motion to delete Pontiac Drive 6400 to 6600. Ms. Whitby?
Gibson?
Yes.
Yielding?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Okay, we've got a couple things that we're excited about having a chance to do, and I had an opportunity to learn recently that one of our young ladies, Miss Holly Humphreys. Holly, if you want to come over here for a moment. Donna, if you want to come with her too, her mother. Holly won the Miss Arkansas National Teenager Crown, and is going to be a junior at the North Little Rock High School West Campus next year. She has a 4-point grade average, number 1 in her class of 658. We won't go back and talk about what some of us ranked when we graduated from North Little Rock High. Holly scored a 30 on her ACT when she was a freshman. And I could go over all her activities, and I'll go over some. Youth Council, the Mayor's Youth Council, cheerleading captain, president of the International Club, the Beta Club, Key Club, competitive speech, science club, and she's been accepted to the peer leadership program next year at North Little Rock High School. Not including the honor roll and on and on. And the one thing, of course, that that makes those of us who continue to add a few years to our life and are blessed to be able to add them in this city, we certainly are proud of our young people who are giving us the knowledge that they're going after the knowledge to be good citizens, and certainly an honor to their community, and we certainly also hope that you make North Little Rock your home when you have a chance to choose. So if I could, in honor of all of you, what you've done, Holly, to honor us, I'd like to proclaim this 28th day of June 2004 as Holly Humphreys Day in honor of being selected as Arkansas National Teenager, but more importantly, in all the other things you've done to make our community a better place, and you and all those who are make efforts every day to make our community a great place. But we're sure happy for what you've done, the honor you achieved. So if I could present this to you and say you thank you very much, and we wish you the best. Thank you, Holly. Do you want to say a little more?
Hi. I just wanted to say the national pageant is the first week of August, and it's in Nashville, Tennessee. So I hope that I can represent Arkansas the best that I can at that pageant. So thank you.
Thank you, Holly. And we wish you the best. Thank you. We also have Miss Felicia Woods' class from Lakewood Middle School here. Do we have a representative group from Lakewood Middle School? And I understand that we have some presentations. If I could come down and are you Miss Felicia Woods?
No, I'm Miss Allen.
Miss Allen, I'm sorry. Okay, Miss Allen. You want to come up to the microphone? Oh, okay.
Well, Michelle first.
All right, Michelle, why don't you come on up here? Let me stand over here. There you go.
I decided to draw the USS Razorbacks because at our school we were doing Cents for the Sub and not everyone knew what it looked like. And I also wanted to draw it because I knew it was an important event in the city and state, and I wanted to be a part of it. And I'm presenting it to Mayor.
Well, let me tell you how much we appreciate this. $394, that's the USS Razorback. I think most of you probably in this room are aware of the adventure that's going on that our city is part of, our council supported, and our community is excited about. And the Razorback will arrive here in North Little Rock on the 18th of July, and we're planning a grand reception and homecoming for the Razorback down in our Riverfront Park. We want all of you to come and join us at this really wonderful event, and we want to tell all of our folks at Lakewood Middle School, certainly all those that participated, what these young people did is they got together and they wanted to help raise some money for the Maritime Museum bringing the Razorback to Arkansas, and had a campaign that's called Cents for Subs, if I'm not mistaken. And one of our local subways on McCain donated the sandwiches, I believe, for the top class that won received Subway sandwiches. So it was a lot of fun, and in addition to that, we have this drawing that I know we're not through. We got several other things, but I just wanted to sort of introduce, why these young folks are down here, and how what we're doing as a community is exciting, because there are so many opportunities for our folks to become excited about this and to learn a lot about the history of not only this vessel but the USS Hoga. And I point that out. There's a model of the Hoga that is on the table. We'll be bringing that back a little bit later this year. So if you want to see what that tugboat, fireboat that was present in Tokyo Bay. So we're just excited about the fact that many people are excited, and especially our young folks. So thank you very much. Okay.
This city representative, Ms. Felicia Woods, who collected the most money.
All right. All right. Okay.
Okay, Mayor Hayes, you may not know that Lakewood Middle School is
Now
the...
introduce yourself. Introduce these folks that are here.
Oh,
Let's
sorry.
do that.
Okay, I'm Katya Luzhina. I'm also a member of the Mayor's Youth Council, and
I'm Gage Jennings, and yeah.
A little louder, okay, now. Ron Smith, okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, Mayor Hayes, you may not know that Lakewood Middle School is the best school in North Little Rock. This year we collected 2,600 books for the Youth Council, and we collected 2 tons of pasta for the Youth Council food drive, all by ourselves. And when Mr. Rogers told us about the submarine and the museum that you plan to build, we took up collection every day for a week to help build it. And so tonight I have a check for you, and with the amount of $445.58
All right.
from the students at Lakewood Middle. The best
Well, we sure appreciate that. Thank you very much. Go
school
ahead. Is that?
And it is my pleasure to present it to you, and be representing Lakewood Middle School, the best school in North Little Rock.
All right. Well, I know that even though you didn't say it, without a doubt, Lakewood Middle School is challenging all the other schools in Pulaski County to see what they can do to join you in this effort. And we look forward to maybe giving them a chance to try to catch up with Lakewood Middle School. Thank you all for this. Thank you very much.
We have one more group.
All right.
Danny Rose, Sue Louisville, and
Okay.
Raising money for the sub really got us interested in it, so a group of 4 of us decided to do some research on it.
Okay.
I'm Jack Deloach, and this is the packet that we did on the submarine, the USS Razorback, and it consists of diaries from when people went over there to get the sub, and the history on it, and news articles on it, and we worked very hard on it.
And we'd like to present it to you.
Well, I sure appreciate it. Thank you very much. Every day we have an opportunity to learn something about the history of that vessel, along with the history of the Hoga, and even more importantly about the men and I'm sure women who have served on those vessels, but certainly serve now in our military. We learn even things like our submarine was used to evacuate Chiang Kai-shek when he left mainland China, and along with some of his staff. And it participated in an atomic nuclear bomb explosion in the early 60s, and we could go on and on. But it's exciting to know that y'all are interested in this, and I can hardly wait to get it here. I'm sure all of the community are looking forward to it. Mark the 18th of July, and we'll make sure that Lakewood Middle School is first in line to get all of our tours. So thank y'all very much. Here's Bob Sisson.
In front of you.
How are we supposed to do that?
It's not going to be far away from the money.
Thank y'all. I just put this right up here. Okay, and the other thing, there's more and more to be excited about it. I understand that we have Ken Gould, with the Bicycle Advocacy Group of Central Arkansas. Ken also has the distinction of teaching me a little law about, 10, 12 years ago when I was...
4 or 5, Mayor.
4 or 5?
Yeah. You got why I can, too.
Ken is a law professor and certainly a great person, and been very active in the Bicycle Advocacy Group. Ken, the microphone's yours.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. I am Ken Gould. I'm president of Bicycle Advocacy of Central Arkansas, BACA for short. And with me tonight are the small contingent of our membership and other bicyclists from Central Arkansas, and we've got one of them right up there, Alderman Height. You can see us real easy by our bright yellow shirts. And we are here tonight to give credit where credit is due. And credit is certainly due all of you for all you have done to develop trails and trails facilities in North Little Rock. I'm and you've done far more than just develop trails, and I'm not sure you're aware of that, because I'll make reference to a talk I heard just a few months ago by, of all people, the mayor of Bogota, Colombia, who said that you can measure the health of a city by what the city does with its open spaces for its citizens. And by open spaces, he specifically meant trails. And he said this about trails: the trails are 20% about recreation and 80% about human dignity and developing a sense of community. And that was proven more concretely recently in a survey done by, of all groups, the National Association of Home Builders, the National Association of Realtors, that showed that of 2,000 prospective homeowners, the most requested, second most requested amenity they wanted was access to trails, just behind access to highways. That was over access to schools, access to shopping, access to business, access to public transportation, everything on down the list. So we want to thank you so much for all you have done to bring a sense of community to North Little Rock and Central Arkansas, and to bring us human dignity through all that has been done for the construction of trails. There are few people who deserve some special recognition. One is the mayor. Mayor Hayes has shown tremendous leadership in developing the trails in record time fashion. Alderman Charlie Height, who is one of yours and one of ours, you can see that through his T-shirt. He is a member of BACA. He has been so helpful to us as we have tried to push our agenda to develop more trails for the community. Has never denied us any requests, has opened a lot of doors for us. And you might be interested to know that yesterday morning, Charlie rode his bicycle 59 miles, set a new personal record for himself.
With him.
And I happen to know that if you translate those miles into years, that's three more years than he's been on the planet.
I miscounted.
Several people who are not actually members of North Little Rock City government, but have contributed so much to North Little Rock civic life. Gene Pfeiffer, who does so much good in our community, but who never seeks public recognition at all. I'm going to give him a little. Gene, and Gene's out there in uniform. Gene, put your hand up, please. Okay. Gene contributed a substantial portion of the land on which the trail is built. Gene and his wife Linda sponsored the kiosk that you see along the trail, and Gene is currently using his resources to help get that bridge built across the Lock and Dam that will connect the Little Rock Trail and the North Little Rock Trail. Dr. Rob Lambert, and Rob is also here in uniform. Rob, hand? Yeah. Rob came up with the idea that the medical community should sponsor a medical mile. And that idea has taken off like wildfire, and we have quickly become a model nationally for how the medical community can contribute to trail construction and the relationship between trail construction and public health. And I should also mention Basil Hicks. Basil, put up your hand, because Basil has constructed a lot of the trails out at Camp Robinson. He's a big-time mountain biker and has spent a lot of hours doing that. I'm myself a former North Little Rockian for 25 years, moved to Little Rock only so I could get a river view and look down, keep my eye on North Little Rock. Thank you all so much, and kind of as in the Wizard of Oz with the wizard himself, we thought you should have something tangible to show for your efforts, and so we have a plaque that says, "In grateful appreciation of Mayor Patrick Henry Hayes and the City Council of North Little Rock for making Central Arkansas a more livable community through development and promotion of multi-purpose recreational commuting trails and related facilities, Bicycle Advocacy of Central Arkansas, June 28, 2004, BACA promoting bicycling and trail development in Central Arkansas."
Ken, thank you. again, I'm sure I speak, I know I do, because the council's been lockstep with all of us in our excitement about, first of all, the beautiful real estate that the good Lord gave us to shepherd the 44 square miles that lies within the city, but also our opportunity to be able to provide ways for people to access that. The 7 miles along the river, I don't know how many of you had a chance to do our trail that's gone up by the VA facility up in Fort Roots. We're working on opportunities to go on out to Maumelle. I know Gene and I are talking about finding a way to take it under the West Belt. We also, along in partnership with the county, are now working on the Maumelle overpass so that it will be bicycle accessible. And more as we look forward to expanding the trail system around here. It's a true joy to be a partner with groups like the Bicycle Advocacy Coalition, or BAC. BACA. Bicycle Advocacy. Central Arkansas. Okay. Bicycle Advocacy of Central Arkansas. I mean, without the partnerships that we have, we'd never be able to do things together, and that's the way we look forward to going into the future. Thank you on behalf of the city and the city council. We look forward to many more things happening, and thanks for being a part of it. Take care. Thank you very much.
Mayor, may I make a side note here? Yesterday there was a kayak race held in North Little Rock from the Burns Park launching ramp. And Dr. Rob Lambert, who organized that, it's my knowledge that he must be some kind of decathlete or pentathlete or something, but it's my knowledge that he came in second overall in that kayak race yesterday. So congratulations to Dr. Lambert.
And now I see we have Representative Dwayne Dobbins. Are you a bicyclist, or you got... Oh, okay. Let me just a second, Dwayne. Let me ask Jan Show, and then we'll. I know Jan with the Mayor's Youth Council, and then I'll bring you up in just a second. Thanks, Jan. I think we have an opportunity to recognize some more young people tonight.
We do.
And,
Thank you.
The Mayor's Youth Council, some of which are here, and I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. I'm so glad that you gave us the opportunity to come tonight and to speak with you and the council and the people who came. I have some of the kids with me tonight. There were 40 of the council members who served over 100 hours. And you see most of them have packets in their hands. Those are presidential awards from President Bush and Points of Light. There's a pen that they got, and then a certificate and a letter that's signed by the president. So that's what they were here to do tonight, and to tell you about what they've done this year. And I'm going to say only that they served 8,100 hours, and then I'm going to sit down and let them tell you themselves. And the first speaker is Grace Deacon.
Hello, I'm Grace Deacon. One of humanity's best assets is tolerance. If we were all tolerant, we would, without a doubt, live in a perfect world. No wars, no crimes. Unfortunately, we do not live in such a place. But the Mayor's Youth Council has been making small changes, which will hopefully make a big difference. The quote that sums up the council's goal is that if we all hold hands, we cannot fight. This quote, which was written by a 5-year-old boy, has inspired us all to make that perfect world. We have had many guest speakers who address the topics of tolerance and diversity, like Mr. Steve's presentation on gangs and violence, and we have heard LaFell Jackson's story of how he tries to keep the kids of Sherman Park from doing just what he did. 4 of us attended Anytown, Arkansas, a camp run by the National Council of Community Justice. We have had someone be a counselor at Unitown, which is a day-long workshop also sponsored by NCCJ. And we have marched in NCCJ's Walk as One, making NCCJ our honored nonprofit of the year.
I was one of the 4 that attended Anytown last year. I loved it, and I'm still very involved in what I believe is a wonderful mission. And I am very excited that this summer we will be able to send 10 of the council members to Anytown thanks to you, Mayor Hayes. And I hope that you, Mrs. Scholl, and Annette Fry from NCCJ can find a way to have a Unitown workshop in August for the council, which will help educate youth on tolerance and diversity. Thanks again for everything, and now to tell you about the project of the year is Ashley White.
Before Ashley goes, I just wanted to acknowledge Grace, her parents, Rush and Debbie Deacon, and her grandfather, although John is no longer with us. John Blodgett was her grandfather. We all know the contributions that John made to this community, and it sure is gratifying to know that his granddaughter is such a fine young lady, and we appreciate you being a part of the Mayor's Youth Council, and wish you, as well as all of those there. Thank you. Okay.
Hi, I'm Ashley White, and I'm here to talk about our Start Something projects. Just for example, I'm going to throw out a few adjectives: black, white, Hispanic, Asian, rich, poor, comfortable. Every person can be described by some word, but everyone should have the same purpose in life. That purpose is to help people who aren't as fortunate as you are. Everyone is good at something or can give a little bit of time. We were invited to give a little bit of our time and to look at our community's needs and to address those needs through programs of our own creation. This project was called Start Something. My Start Something project was focused on diversity and involved the English as a second language students at West Campus High School. I noticed that they stayed mostly to themselves and had problems with their English skills, so I got permission from the school district to tutor them one-on-one and for the council to tape books on tape for them to take them home to help with their reading skills. In my little bit of time, I decided to try to help out a Hispanic girl named Marcella. She wasn't very good at English since she just moved here from Puerto Rico, so being a person who's particularly good at English, 16 years of practice, I decided to lend my services. Every Tuesday or Wednesday, I stayed after school and tutored her. It took some getting used to because I was missing out on being with my friends or watching TV, but this way I could be, better for helping her out. Now she can't exactly write a novel, but she can get around at her job at Luby's. So you see, another job was solved because instead of going home to watch TV or be with my friends or something that was selfish, I volunteered my time. Everyone can do it. Race and social status don't matter. Give up a little bit of something and it may go a long way for someone who didn't have any. All blood runs red. We're all the same in some way, so it doesn't matter who you give something to. Now you're going to hear about some of our other projects we did.
All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm Rachel Darville.
And I'm Hillary Darville.
We were ninth graders last year at East Campus, and we want to tell you about some of the ways that the council earned hours this year. We volunteered for the city. We helped at the Centennial. We painted lots of little faces all over the city. We worked at the Fireman's Fun Fest. We mentored kids at the Boys and Girls Club and our club. We shadowed city employees on job shadowing day. We hosted kids from Yuang City, our Korean sister city. We taped books with the North Little Rock School District. We volunteered at Kids Day America at Park Hill Elementary. We hosted a carnival for the elderly at Paris Towers on the National Day of Caring. And we collected over 4,000 books that will be used for the after-school reading program. We also worked with some of the better-known nonprofits in the city. We folded 5,000 brochures for the American Heart Walk and handed out water to the walkers. We gave out candy at Boo at the Zoo on Halloween. We helped Car Tie with their Christmas festival of trees. We rang the bells for the Salvation Army, working their angel tree at the mall, and made 175 stockings for their kids. We delivered Thanksgiving baskets for CareLink and worked their motor show fundraiser. We collected 48 pints of blood for the American Red Cross, and one of them was yours. Thank you, Mayor Hayes. We contributed over $600 worth of new school supplies to their homeless kids at our house shelter, and we also collected over 2 tons of pasta for potluck for Christmas food banks. Our 75 members earned over 8,100 hours. That represents about $42,000 translated to minimum wage. 26 of our members have over 100 hours, 10 members have over 200 hours, and Katya Lazina, our volunteer of the year, served 433 hours. The members are now going to The rest of the members are now going to introduce themselves and tell you what school they represented on the council.
Hi, I'm Ashley White. I graduated
See, one of the things, see that little camera right over there? Yeah, so just wave it in and come over and tell them who you are, because not only all the people in here want to see who you are, but the folks at home would love to know who you are and tell you how much they thank you for what you've done. All of them.
Okay. I'm Ashley White. I graduated from West Campus recently, and I did 151 hours.
Why don't we all just wait till they all get finished, and then we'll give them a real strong round of applause.
Hi, my name is Callie Wood. I went to East Campus last year and served 156 hours.
Hello, my name is Jason Gillard. I served 218, and I went to Ridgeville Middle Charter School.
Hi, I'm Sarah Butler, and I went to CAC last year, and I served 162 hours.
Hi, I'm Crystal Phillips. I went to North Little Rock East Campus, and I served 176 hours.
Hi, my name is Bridget George. I served 161 hours and I attended East Campus.
I'm Jack DeLoach. Y'all already know me from before. I served 100 hours, and I went to Lakewood Middle School as an 8th grader last year.
Hi, I'm Katya Luzhina. I served 433 hours, and I go to Lakewood Middle School last year as an 8th grader.
Hello, I'm Brittany Williams. I attended Lakewood Middle School and I served 141 hours.
Hi, I'm Hillary Darwell. I'm going to be a 10th grader at East Campus next year, and I served 106 hours. I'm Rachel Darwell, and I served 87 hours.
Hi, I'm Jessica Worrell, and I just graduated North Little Rock High School, and I served 165 hours.
Grace Deacon, 228 hours. Mount St. Mary.
My name is Justin Gillard. I went to North Little Rock East Campus last year as a 10th grader, and I served 212 hours.
Hi, my name is Kent Skiles, and I attended CAC last year, and I served 135 hours.
Hi, my name is Hannah Davidson, and I'm a graduate of North Little Rock High School, and I served 138 hours.
My name is Justin Jones. I'm going to be a senior at North Little Rock next year, and I served 269 hours.
I think we all ought to give them a stand. The only thing we need to try to figure out is how we can make all those donated hours at minimum wage, how we can take some sales tax out of it. Thank y'all very much. We appreciate it.
Is this it here? Is this yours?
If I could, and I was not aware that we are in the money tonight, and was going to introduce him. Wasn't sure exactly what honor we had in former city council member, former Alderman Dwayne Dobbins, but he is taking care of business out the state legislature, and I understand has some something that our finance director might be happy to take in addition to the contribution we received from the people at Lakewood, young people at Lakewood Middle School. Representative Dobbins.
Thank you, Mayor Hayes, City Council. Once again, it's a great honor to stand before this body of such wonderful people. And I had the great pleasure of serving here, and I look out and I see a lot of familiar faces. I'm here to present a few checks this time around. We have one for the upgrading the lights in the gym at Glenview Recreation Center, another for the men's fitness at North Little Rock Community Center, and the third for upgrading the ball field and replacement of bleachers at Sherman Park. Now, those checks are in the amount of, I have to make sure of this, I believe there's $15.43 for the Glenview Recreation Center.
That's not $15.43.
No, I know. Mayor, we deal in bigger numbers up there.
Well, we like that.
And $1,801 for the North Little Rock Community Center, the men's fitness, as well as another $1,801 for the replacement of bleachers at the ball field at Sherman Park. And as I understand this, I'm not supposed to give this to you, give it to the finance director.
Mr. Simpson will be more than happy to receive that, but certainly with the thanks of the entire community, this council will...
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and I'm still working on a few other things.
We know you'll be back. We know you'll be back. Thank you, and we appreciate the job that you do out in the General Assembly. I know this has been a real challenging year with education, having been most of your spring, and we do appreciate it. We thank you again for your service up here, but thanks for taking care of us out at the Capitol.
Thank you. Thank all of you.
Okay. I think we are ready to go to the agenda.
Resolution 0432, Mayor Hayes.
Please call it.
A resolution authorizing the police department to amend its agreement with the Housing Authority of the City of North Little Rock.
Okay, Mr. Susky.
Yes, Mayor, it's after legal review of the issues on the clothing. Essentially, it needs to be adopted, but before it's adopted, we recommend an amendment that on the attachment, Exhibit A, that the Section 1 be stricken. That's all the references to the clothing, and the Section 2 becomes Section 2, and that what should be a Section 2 becomes Section 2. On that, that's all recommended on an amendment before you adopt it.
Strike Section 1, first Section 2, Section 1, second Section 2 stays Section 2.
That's correct.
Omit Section 1 and rename the remaining section or sections in accordance with the normal.
I'll make that in the form of a motion. That takes out all of the clothing issues altogether.
Yes, Alderman.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion on that? On the motion?
Gibson?
Yes.
Gilding?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Now do I have a motion to adopt as amended?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion on the motion?
Gibson?
Yes.
Gilding?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Ordinance 0431, Alderwoman Robinson.
Please call it.
Go ahead and read it, please.
This is an ordinance establishing requirement for home daycares and daycare centers in the city of North Little Rock. This is the third and final reading.
You have a motion for adoption?
I'd like to move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yes. And Mayor and Ms. Robinson's aware of a couple of three problems I have with the legislation. Number one, there's no suggestion of any kind, or there's no requirement for a playground area to be grass or another soft surface. As you're well aware, one of my biggest problems with daycares is that we have more than one of them that have asphalt parking lots with kids trying to play on top of them. We're required in the city to build this pretty good size area under every piece of playground equipment that we build. So there's no requirement from that. My biggest concern, though, that's one concern. The other concern is this piece of legislation allows any school, office building, or church with 30 parking lots to become a daycare center without coming through any process. And there's some possible amendments that are floating around. I don't know whether it would be best to request that you withdraw it, because I frankly believe the things have to be totally rewritten.
Well, I don't want to withdraw it. Would it be possible to amend this to add the recommendations from Alderman Gibson?
Yes, sir.
Alderman Gibson, excuse me, are you prepared to offer the various concerns that you have?
Oh, I've got them. I mean, but see, there's a possible amendments that got passed around tonight, I believe. That's in
Actually,
front.
I just gave them to Alderman Gibson and to...
Okay, but I mean, I don't have I can take the original legislation, but let's try to get to it by the end of the meeting, and I will try to get the amendments to the original legislation done. How many times has this been on our agenda?
3 times.
3.
This is only the 3rd time, so we could be there 3 more times without having to be. Okay.
I don't have a problem with the playground and the materials that's needed for the playground. I don't have a problem with that at all. I also don't have a problem with people that are wanting to go into the business to have to come into the city or to be reviewed by the city, you know, even if it is located in a shopping center. I don't have a problem with that at all. You know, so if those...
It seems like we are somewhat in consensus, but we just don't have the wording. So why don't, Alderwoman Robinson, if you would, let's just bypass this for the time being and go on to the next item. And if we're able, I know it's been on here for a while, and I know that there have been a lot of things going on in the council, and so, you know, perhaps we can get to it tonight. But I would agree with Alderman Gibson, and since there's a consensus out there, we might see what we can do tonight. But if not,
we can. I think it could be on the agenda 6 times, and it has only been 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Rather than withdrawing it, you know,
okay.
we can hold it over rather than withdraw, because no, I don't want to withdraw.
Yeah, I'll work with y'all on the amendments for next council.
Okay.
Well, we can work through.
That's fine.
So that'll be held. You know, and I neglected to do this, and let me just take a minute of personal privilege. I know I was absent at the last council meeting, and I understand, you know, Alderman Berry was also absent. I know that he is suffering some illness right now, and we certainly hope that the I believe it's Rocky Mountain spotted fever, which I want to emphasize is not contagious. It's it was, I guess, transmitted by a tick bite, and so I want to thank him for being here and certainly recognize, you know, his not having been able to be at the last council meeting. And I know you had a comment or two that you might want to make before we go on with the remainder of the business.
Yes, I did. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to comment on some stuff that's came to light in the media just recently. It's regrettable that anything like this in a family should occur. And I'd just like to make it be known that under the circumstances, I did what I thought I needed to do to protect part of my family. And I'm sure that this will be worked out through the judicial system. And I wanted to bring it before tonight, though this was going to be the only time I was going to talk about it. I apologize if I embarrassed anybody, and I appreciate all the phone calls and the people that have given me advice and kept me in their prayers, and I just want to say that. Thanks.
Well, we know it's certainly a difficult time. Any family happenings that sometimes present themselves in ways that we would never hope they would. And I know that our thoughts and wishes go with you and your family, and we wish you the best as this process evolves. So, thank you for being here, and I know that if your condition requires you to leave, we certainly would understand. Okay. Well, we're glad you're here. Next item.
Ordinance 0437, Mayor Hayes.
Is Judy here? I hadn't had a chance to visit with her about that. I'm going to hold that again.
Ordinance 0438, Mayor Hayes.
Yeah, I had Alderman Gibson by.
That was a mistake.
But I understand it is me.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Boyles, are you here? Can you tell me where we are on this? And then this comes from your shop in planning?
Yes, sir. This is the Planning Commission requesting that we amend our subdivision regs requiring digital files. We held public hearing for the Planning Commission, received no opposition. What this would do, it would grant us the ability to retrieve digital files so that we can import that into our GIS system and better track development in the area.
The council have any questions? Any concerns?
I don't know much about either.
Well, try to explain a little bit more,
Okay.
Mr. Boyle.
The Planning Commission reviews development for the city, accepts subdivisions. Normally, they're received in paper plat format. We review those. Under this additional requirement, we would ask for, in addition to the paper plat, a digital plat that we can then extract and automatically import into our information base. We're keeping track with lots and blocks throughout the city. That way, we don't have to redraw the subdivision. Some are voluntarily doing this, and it'll just be helpful in keeping up with new development throughout the city.
It makes some sense. Can you tell me if this is somewhat uniform in the
Yes.
state or in the area, or?
In the area, Little Rock has been doing this for 8 years or so, requiring the digital subdivision plats and monumentation with each subdivision so that we can accurately pinpoint spots in the subdivision. And the Planning Commission did hold hearings. We notified all the engineering, surveying firms in the region and received no opposition to our new requirement. I think it's pretty common across in larger cities, not in the smaller cities.
Alderman Berry and then Alderman Height.
This gives us a better dimensional view of what the plat's going to look like, right?
Well, it'll give us that in a easier to transport format. We of course receive the paper plat, and we have a site plan and a vicinity map with that. We understand where those are, but Pages has to redraw those subdivisions based on the paper illustration, and we were just trying to avoid that added work. This is already being done on computers, and the files can be transferred to the city, and we'll give those to others in the area who are using digital files. So it'll be a just helpful tool to save manpower, work hours.
Any other questions, Alderman?
He answered my question for me.
Okay. Any other questions, Alderman Thomas?
Is it a minimal cost to do that you're going to require that to be done? Is that going to be?
Well, most firms are already using GIS or AutoCAD digital computers to build their maps, and so for most all firms there won't be added cost. There may be a few older surveying firms that just do hand drawings, but those are very rare these days.
But you had no objections?
We've received no objections at the Planning Commission.
And what happens to the older firms? What will they do?
We'll have to get those digitized, and they'll have to provide that digital form.
Any other questions?
Mayor, may I ask this? So, though an existing survey that a person has on a piece of property,
yes,
will that still be sufficient, or will it have to be upgraded to the new?
Well,
Only subdivisions?
Subdivision we already have in our system is there, and we can record it.
Okay.
We already have those digital records. This is, if we have a new subdivision that came in outside or on the boundary, then that would just be brought in under digital files and be able to share that data quicker.
Do I have a motion?
It hasn't been read at all.
All right, let's read it then.
This is an ordinance establishing requirements for subdivision surveys, including the horizontal control standards, vertical control standards, monumentation, and digital file submittals in the city of North Little Rock. First reading.
Move to suspend the rules, place on the second reading.
Second.
On the motion to suspend?
Gibson?
Yes.
Yielding?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Berry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
An ordinance establishing requirements for subdivision surveys, including the horizontal control standards, vertical control standards, monumentation, and digital file submittals in the city of North Little Rock. Second reading.
Move to suspend the rules and place it on the third reading.
Second.
On the motion?
Gibson?
Yes.
Yielding?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Berry?
Yes.
Vestal? Height?
Yes.
An ordinance establishing requirements for subdivision surveys, including the horizontal control standards, vertical control standards, monumentation, and digital file submittals in the city of North Little Rock. Third and final reading.
On the question?
Gibson?
Yes.
Yielding?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Berry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Gibson?
Yes.
Yielding?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Berry?
Yes.
Vestal.
Yes.
Height.
Yes.
New business, Resolution 0441, Mayor Hayes.
Please call it.
This is a resolution appropriating $100,000 for Phase 2 of the skateboard park.
Move
Motion.
for...
So moved.
Yes.
Second. Motion made and seconded on the motion.
Gibson.
Yes.
Yielding.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Vestal.
Yes.
Height.
Yes.
Resolution 0442, Mayor Hayes.
Please call it.
A resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to purchase certain real estate for the city's riverfront expansion appropriating funds.
Motion?
Sorry.
Question?
Yeah, let me get a motion.
Okay.
So moved. This is the area down on Pine Street.
Motion made and seconded. Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Boyes, you want to describe that? Says you go in that last entrance east on the, going through the seawall, if I'm not mistaken. There is a small plot of land that the city's never acquired, and this we've been negotiating with and feel it's a fair price in accordance with the appraisal. Mr. Boyles?
Yes, sir. There were 2 or 3 small lots next to the Sandman. One of them is Seals property, which is on for discussion tonight. That company had been offered an exorbitant amount of money for that back when there was a hotel next to it that was concept and speculation. And because of that, they were wanting a very large amount for this one lot. We have been discussing this with them for several years. I think we made an offer or a tentative proposal 2 years ago, and all the family members have finally come to terms with the amount. This is similar to what was offered to the Glovers in the area. If you recall, we based it on that price, and they're now willing to sell that lot to the city, and it will join next to the boat ramp area. It's one more of those lots. We're currently using that with the parking for the contractor who's building the streetcar system. And they first wanted us off the property, and then we got into discussion about purchasing it, and so that's why we're here.
Any other questions? Alderman Berry?
How much is that a square?
264,
I think it was 264.
5,000 square foot, 13.2 should be 264.
Okay.
On the motion?
Gibson.
Yes.
Yielding.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Vestal.
Yes.
Height.
Yes.
Resolution 0443, Alderman Thomas.
Call it, please.
A resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into an engineering contract with Marlar Engineering Company Incorporated to provide engineering services for the design phase of Short Street drainage and street improvements.
I'd like to move for the adoption of the resolution.
I'll second it. It's rare that we do these.
Yeah, I just want, where's the money come from?
Ward 2 drainage fund.
It's come from your drainage fund?
Right.
Motion made and seconded on the motion.
Gibson.
Yes.
Yielding.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Vestal.
Yes.
Height.
Yes.
Yes. Alderman Thomas?
I would like also there, it was scheduled for the overlay paving, and I'd like to see the monies and the work that was to be done there to go to Melrose Circle.
Excuse me?
We were going to overlay that street. Now that we're going to go in and build that street, it'd just be a waste of money to go in and overlay the street. It'd be certainly a waste, and the people who live on the street felt the same thing. So what I'd like to do is use the paving that we're going to do on Short Street over on Melrose Circle, because they've been asking for that for months now to do that.
Okay, let me visit with you and our city engineering department, and we'll see what, whether that's something we can do.
Because I know the engineering department's having problems with the alderman for that area. The wannabe alderman for that area is also wanting work in that area. So I'd like to see that, and maybe we can spend some more money in that area as well. But I noticed the communication back and forth between us and as I say, the wannabe alderman in that area is giving them a problem. See?
Okay, well, I'll try to work that out. See
Okay.
if we can work something like that out.
Oh, man.
Next item?
Resolution 0444, Alderman Yielding.
Call it.
A resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into an agreement with the Lakewood Property Owners Association for athletic programs and improvements to the athletic facilities appropriating funds.
I have one amendment. I want to add, at his request, Alderman Witcher's name as a sponsor.
I'll be down without objection.
Okay. And there was somebody else, but they didn't do it. I don't know if he wants to do that now before we do it.
No, it's not.
Okay. What this is appropriation for to LPOA. They run the athletic programs up at the ball fields. They have over almost 1,300 youth participate in soccer, swimming, baseball, softball. They are really filling a void that's created in the city without those facilities up there.
You're going to need a motion before we go any further. You're going to need a motion. You want to move for adoption?
Yeah, I move for adoption.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
I want to bring up, I can't speak on it until there's a second. I'm not going to second it at this point.
Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second.
Okay.
I have a legal question, because I want to get this cleared up because I'm sure it's going to come back. Do these items not require a contract for services when the city?
Yes, that's what, if you're reading Section 1, we put that agreement has to be entered into. City cannot give away a gift,
I understand that.
but what they can do is enter into a contract for services. That's
So
correct.
if it comes back, I would request that it have a contract for services.
It's in there.
There isn't, no.
Well, the contract is not in there, but at the advice of the city attorney's office, we were told that we could put it in there for an agreement to be worked out between the mayor and that if the city council did it, then we could come back with a contract, and that's been done in the past.
Let me just indicate, since we're just talking a little bit about this, I would oppose this. I know that there are times when times we make exceptions, but those exceptions have a very unique, in most instances, justification. There are contracts that go along with that. We've got a variety of organizations that are out there that I know very regularly, when we in the past have done things like this, are very interested in us moving forward, and I think because of the equitable nature of what we need to do and should do as a city, that it would be very hard for me to be able to support this. I know I didn't have the opportunity to visit with you, Alderman, about that before you filed this, and I just know at this point I could not support this.
Well, can I say a little bit since you got a little spill there? Okay, let me say this. We have sit here, and tonight we did it, and 2 weeks ago we did it, and gave money to organizations and groups all over the city. And I don't know why. Well, tonight we gave money to Sherman Park. We gave money to, before that we gave money to Rose City. We gave money to Glenview.
Those are city-owned facilities.
That's exactly. We gave the money to the organizations in there, to CDCs, to community, to community development corporations. We gave the city money. Now, I don't know. Nobody brought up anything about contracts or anything. Of course, we have it in here to have a contract with them, just like we give money to the Boys Club. We have a contract with them, just like we give money. Just like we give money to the Main Street, we have a contract with them.
That's a contract.
That's right, and it mentions here to have a contract. So I just took the advice of the city attorney's office that we could do this and then get the contract for the mayor to sign.
Well, I'll be happy to discuss this with you at any time. I know you did not. You and I did not have a chance to visit about this, and I will be more than happy to visit with you any time.
Well, that's fine. I called you to not ask, but to discuss it with you, but I didn't hear back from you.
I never knew that. I never knew you called. I'm sorry. That message was never given to me.
Well, I did. So let me just have a little bit more to go here. I don't understand. I really don't understand why there seems to be some aversion to trying to help the youth in this city just because they go and play their sports at the Lakewood facilities. I don't understand that at all. The high school team plays up there. The high school girls softball team wants to make it their home field because they don't have any other place to play. It's the only leagues, the only people that play league ball is in Lakewood. They now play USAA, they play tournament ball in Burns Park. If you want, and 60% of the kids that play there don't even live in Lakewood. are not even living in Lakewood or LPOA members. 60%. And that's through all the sports. Without those facilities there, and there are no other public facilities in that area of town, as there are in Rose City and Burns Park and those areas. I don't understand why there's such a problem with trying to help out the youth. They have needs. This money would just be for the athletic programs and facilities, not for anything that could be anywhere construed as private or anything for any people that would have to be a member. So, I mean, I don't understand why there's such an aversion to trying to help the Lakewood athletic programs that do such a good job for the youth of the whole city. I know that Alderman Thomas's boys played up there. I mean, they really serve a need, and I don't know why we can't get over this hump. And all the other money that we give to all the other groups, I mean, you know, everything's just hunky-dory and everything's fine, but then you try to bring up Lakewood, and all of a sudden there's just this big problem, this big brick wall that you hit, and I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all.
If you and I had a chance to visit with you, I would have been happy to go over in very lengthy detail some of the concerns I have. You know, every one of those lakes up there has Lakewood property owners only on the lakes.
It's not for the lakes.
I know it's not for the lakes, but it's for Lakewood Property Owners Association, and they're all part of the same institution. And they have different charges for members who are part of the Property Owners Association, and for people who are non-members or non-residents up there. There's a different fee schedule for that. You know, we also have the Indian Hills Property Owners Association. We've got various others, you know, that we have to deal with in terms of, you know, how we're going to treat those fairly. And each of them have programs. Now, you know, if you want to talk about specifics, I'll be happy to name specifics if you want to bring up individual items about the money that we distribute and how and why we do that, and I'll be happy to visit with you about that. If you want to name one, and I'll be more than pleased to sit down and discuss that with you, but I'll just, at this point, I've got, and it's not that we don't work in assistance with LPOA and with the Lakewood Improvement District. You know, the road between the old mill and the swimming lake, you know, there was an additional $120,000 that were over and above what we allocated to start with, and the city council came up with every bit of those additional funds, and the improvement district contracts with LPOA to run their programs. So, you know, there are a variety of differences, and if we can talk specifics, I'll be happy to discuss those with you anytime you'd like.
Well, I think it's something that we can work out, and that we can specifically put this, as I, you know, have attempted to do, to the athletic programs and the things that are available to everyone.
I'll be happy to work with you, but it's you know, I know that in the 16 years I've been here, and I won't say that we've never done it, because we have. I know at one point we paid for electricity on an ad hoc basis, or maybe even a regular basis. And, you know, when we discussed the difficulties of that assistance, that program was ended, and that's been about 6 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, I'll be happy to visit with you. I know that it would be a tough hurdle to overcome, unless it's something along the lines of the assistance.
We'll just wait till the next meeting, and maybe Alderman Witcher will be back and get a second, and then we'll discuss it some more.
It's up to you.
That's fine.
Next item.
Resolution 0445, Mayor Hayes.
Please call it.
A resolution reappointing Tom Davis to the Parks and Recreation Commission.
Move for adoption.
Second.
On the motion.
Gibson. Yes. Yielding.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Vestal.
Yes.
Height.
Yes.
I don't think Tom is here. I don't see him, but he's been a long time serving member of that commission, a great contributor. I know he comes from Alderman Thomas and Alderwoman Robinson's ward, and we appreciate, Tom, if you're looking, all your service and your continued service. Thank you very much. Next item.
Resolution 0446, Alderman Yielding.
Call it.
A resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located at 606 and 608 West 23rd Street in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance and condemning said structures, providing a period of time for property owner to abate said nuisance.
Move for adoption.
I have an amendment.
Okay, what's your amendment?
Clark, do you have a copy of this?
Yes.
Okay, what the amendment is, the correct address is 804 806 West 23rd, and to correct the legal description, and she's got that. And the owner is Dennis and Terry Schutte, 115 Jessica Lane, Sherwood, Arkansas, 72120.
We need to amend it, but we're going to have to go back through redo the public notice, aren't we?
Yeah, we're not going to do it tonight. We're going to I just want to amend it because we do have to do that.
There's a motion to amend. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion on the motion to amend? You got that, Ms. Whitby?
Yes, sir.
On the motion?
Gibson.
So we're looking at
Yes.
Yielding.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Berry.
Yes.
Vestal.
Yes.
And Height.
yes.
Yeah, we have
It's amended.
okay, now I'd like to discuss it. We're not going to vote on it tonight because we do have to notice that we have to give. But I do have a slideshow presentation that I'd like to do just to show you what the people are having to live next to. And this gentleman also owns 3 or 4 other properties in the area and numerous other ones in the city. And all of them look about like this. Robert was kind enough Code got these for me, and Robert was kind enough to put them on there. So go ahead. This is the backyard. This has been this way since October, okay? And there's the back. Let's cycle through there. It's been boarded out. Now, let me hold you for a second. All the boarding up that's been done, the city has done because the owner would not do it. So we're into this property for quite a bit of money already, and for going in and spending our time and money to board it up. Go ahead. It's been broken into. There's been people in it. Been vandalized. Tree in the back. That's where it has been cut on one side, and to show you the difference in what the grass, how tall the grass has been allowed to get. Go to the next one. That's the front. That's after it's been cut by the city. I think they got most of it was cut yesterday or today. That's the gang graffiti that's on the wall, on the fence. I think that's about it. But that just gives you an idea about what the property looks like and what the people have to live next door to and also across the street from. At this point, I'm just going to hold it so proper notice can be given and then a public hearing called for the first available council meeting that we can do so.
Ms. Whitby, would you and our city attorney make sure proper notification is given so we can act on this as soon as you tell us?
Certainly, code enforcement's going to start that procedure.
I also have, a whole list of police calls to the house also. Of course, this was before it wasn't vacant. We had 23 calls, various reasons, to the house before it was vacant. So that's something that will be added in by code.
Alderman Berry?
I'll ask you a question. That vacant lot that's over there,
Mm-hmm.
does that belong to them too? That
I'm
needs
not.
to be cut off.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it does. A lot of it has been cut. Code and I drove by there before the meeting, and a lot of it, we've already went by there, or the city's already went by there and cut the grass for these people. But it's getting to be a little ridiculous. It's kind of like, where are you on the list for us to go cut these people's properties? And we've talked about how much the city has to pay to cut people's grass and everything, and this person seems to really not want to take care of anything, and maybe this will get his attention. If not, then we'll just go forward with it on all of the properties, but on anybody who won't take care of their property, because they're just people that have lived down there since day one for 60 years. They're having to live next door to this stuff and across the street from it, and it's just not right.
Well, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we all totally agree. How's our, Tom, would you want to come to the microphone a second and tell us how, I know that it seems like every time we turn around we've got another grass growing shower. How is our grass growing problems?
Well, it's growing fast, but we're trying to keep up with it as we can. We get a lot of complaints because we can't keep it cut soon enough for people, but we just have 2 bush hogs to cut it, and we're cutting it as fast as we can.
what do we do? Are we still putting liens and charging people when we do this?
Yes, sir, and this individual in particular, we've already issued him 3 citations and have him in court at this time. But as we can find the people, we do issue them citations and try to recoup our money back through the court system if we can get it back there. And then, if not, we'll go ahead and put liens against the property.
Alderman Gibson?
In the case of this one, have we taken these people to court?
Yes, sir. We issued him 3 citations. We're prepared after trial to issue him additional citations, but it was put on hold because he raised an issue of bankruptcy, which the city attorney can explain. The city has a different agreement whether it should go forward than he does, but it was postponed for another 30 days for him to bring an attorney in.
Are fines subject to bankruptcy problems? I guess
Actually, no, they're not. And we recently, about 2 weeks ago, got a verbal ruling from a bankruptcy judge that we're free to proceed. And we're waiting on that written order, but it's a first in Arkansas, very significant for cities. But we just got this ruling, so we're going to be able to go after them regardless of bankruptcy.
Let me ask you a question. If we do fine and then we do get a lien and then we finally get a court date and all that, how long is it before we would ever recoup, before we ever get to recoup?
It's very rare that I've seen that we're recouped because the majority of the property that has liens on it, the property's never sold. And so
we're cutting grass for free pretty much, huh?
if we can't find the owner, we've got a lot of property where the owner's deceased, nobody's probated, and it just sits there. It's almost as if nobody owns it, and we just have to keep mowing it. And that's one of the problems. They're dilapidated houses. The owner may pass away. The property's not worth probating. The family doesn't want it, and they just let it sit there until it deteriorates, and we have to go in and abate the problem. And then it may be a lot that nobody wants, they can't sell. So the only way that we can really get our money back is when we can find them and issue them citations and go through the court system. That's been the best way.
Then I have another question. We have a new program in the city, a rehab program that works through Pulaski Tech. I know not all these houses are rehabable, but is there any way that we could legally get them to using this rehab program?
I've talked to them at the VOTEC in the past, but that would be something that have to go to the city attorney's office, because once again, the majority of the houses, we can't find an owner to them.
I think probably new construction almost be the better thing on there.
Yeah, one of the problems with Pulaski Tech program, they have a house on 19th and Share. I believe they have 2 of them. They're waiting on funding, building new houses, and they're waiting on funding to be able to finish those houses now.
Mr. Susky, once we attach 2 or 3 liens, can't we foreclose on our liens? I mean, if we're going to mow it, we might as well get title to it in our name.
Oh, absolutely, we can do that.
Give it to somebody who will build on it.
You can go do that. We can go foreclose. It's something we've talked about for a number of years. But yeah, we could foreclose and own them. One thing I think is a valuable tool also, let's say if, frequently with situations the church want to acquire, land next to them with a lien on, we could foreclose. The church or whoever could show up and buy it at the auction.
Well, to me, it seems like we ought to work with the city attorney's office, Tom, and find out where there's some that have at least reached some status of lien amount, and that we don't know any way that we can force the property owners to take care of their property. Then to me, the most reasonable thing, if we're going to take care of it, we might as well have title to it, and to work with the city attorney's office to foreclose on our liens. And if somebody buys it, great. But if not, at least then we'll have it, and might be able to work with some of our agencies like Pulaski Tech or others, to one of these days be able to use that real estate.
We've got some great people who are working on putting people on those, and a lot of them are new houses. Gardner Memorial is a good example of that.
What's our fee when we go out and cut the grass?
What do we charge per? Does it
We've
set?
been charging $100 for just the basic lot, and then if it's one that we have to repeatedly cut it, we go back and spray Roundup on it to kill it, and that's another $100.
Well, I'd say if you hit $1,000 on a piece of property and it looks like we're not, there's no prospects of somebody, I don't know, you and the city attorney can talk, but that ought to be a nice round number to go foreclose on. So whatever properties that we've accumulated $1,000 in liens on, or, you know, unless anybody objects from this council, then that would be what my thought would be for the two of y'all to work together to start making sure our liens are in order. When it hits that amount, then we file a foreclosure action and start getting some of this property in our name.
Mayor.
Alderman Vestal and then Alderman Height.
Tom, how often do we mow these yards in a severe case like the one we were showing, like Alderman Yielding had?
As often as we can get to them. It depends on...
Are you mowing them 3-4 times during a season?
Oh, yes, sir. If we can get to them, we sure are.
Alderman Height.
I'm just curious, Tom, as to how many pieces of ballpark figure, how many pieces of property out there that are the meters running on them as far as getting up to that $1,000 mark.
I'd have to check and look at the previous liens that were put against the property, but I'm sure they're probably going to be considerable, especially vacant lots, no houses, that we may be up close to that.
Alderman Gibson.
It's really interesting that a lot across from mine in your street is one of the ones they have to mow. And which is a concern. I mean, it's the lot that's on faces B Street there, next door to Terry Isbell, belongs to an out-of-country owner, I believe, and they just don't mow it. So they have to come up there 4 or 5 times a year. They put the little sign in the ground, and then they go cut it. And so it's not in just any one area of the city. And I mean, it gets this high, y'all cut it. I guess my other concern is that what is our rule on undeveloped lots? Because we have undeveloped lots that have the same problem, that they're grown up and they're grown up rather tall.
There's never been an exact rule, and we've tried to get them to cut back away from the streets, but I don't think there's any, and I'll get with the city attorney, but there's been nothing as far as legislation exactly what an undeveloped lot is.
If it's been, Mr. Boyles, I guess I'll ask this question. If it's been platted as a subdivision, it's a